Hello everyone, I'm Dick Tango. Today I'm going to be talking about the new Halloween update, the Haunting of Verdansk. As you can see here,
Traffic
I'm
distance
floating
deployed.
into Verdansk in the night. We have some moonlight here to keep things fairly visible. People were expecting it to be a good bit darker, I think. I do still think that thermal sights are going to be very, very useful, as darker skins are going to be harder to see. I think like the rose skin from the last battle pass is going to be very difficult. But yeah, definitely some interesting things here because things like tracers and sniper glint's going to be that much more obvious since everything is overall darker. And I'm going to be talking about the
Clumsy
loadouts that
enemy
I
down.
recommend to be running. The loadouts I recommend to be running here in the Royale Night mode. I'm going to pull out back here to the lobby to show you guys a couple of things in game. The Halloween event has its own like mini battle pass here with these 16 unlocks. These are not done by progressing, but by actually going into different places on the map. As you can see here, there's like a map of Verdansk, and in these different areas, you can find these different upgrades. This dam watch is very cool. There's some nice stickers and stuff in here, a couple blueprints, and if you get all 16 of them, you get this pumpkin Punisher blueprint for the Grau, which unfortunately has the 20-inch barrel. So when you go attach the 26 or whatever it is Archangel barrel, you're going to lose the orange in that part of the gun. Still, though, you do get the nice PB7 hollow and a couple of other things about the gun. Really cool overall looking. There's going to be quite a few other events. You get a free weapon, or a few other modes as well, and you get a free weapon charm. Currently, we have Trick or Trios, which is going to be just trios BR in the dark. It's kind of made for a mode to go find the unlocks, which you do by going and finding legendary chests. They'll have a little bit of a jump scare in them, but what about I've seen, it's not extreme. And then Zombie Royale, which is trios, where when you die, you become a zombie. If you die as a zombie, you're gone. You can be brought back by your team if they're still humans. But if you're a zombie and you kill humans or come across corpses, they have a syringe on them that you can pick up, and if you get two of those, you become a human again and keep fighting with your team. And then the last person or the last team with a human, not a zombie, on it will win the game. I'm going to step over here and show you all my suggested loadouts for the BR modes. So as you can see by the map, it is not terribly dark. So when you're going against other people, using thermals may not be the biggest deal. It might be better to just go ahead with a standard VLK or hollow optic because they're going to be picking up cold-blooded later anyway. But there's still value for sure. Being able to scan across the map quicker and just see people sticking out. You know, there's always going to be people coming back from Gulag or people who are still running EOD in that slot and things like that. So it's still use of going with a hollow sight, but keep that in mind for the normal trios. However, zombies always show up in the thermal scopes. So for the zombies mode particularly, always be running a thermal. I've got several builds here. Classes that don't have any sniper scope glint, no tracers that'll show up, no map pings from unsilenced weapons, and we'll have thermal optics to help you see. So what I've done here, the first important thing to know is that most of the integral suppressor barrels hide tracers despite not saying it. There are a couple of exceptions with the newer weapons, I believe. They may have fixed those at some point, but for sure these will work. This is a kilo here. I've got the 100-round drums. This is particularly good for the zombies one, just to make sure you can fully mow down everybody you need to before you reload, but you can still go with the standard 60-round, which is pretty good for this gun. And of course the Singard Arms Whisper barrel, Commando foregrip just to control your recoil. Got the Solo Zero NVG Advanced optic here, a thermal overlay. This one is nice because it sees through windows, whereas the Merc Thermal does not. However, the Merc Thermal might be a better picture in your opinion. They're very close in ADS on most guns, so give them both a try, see which one you like. I don't recommend going a thermal hybrid. The thermal hybrids have insanely high ADS penalties. And I also went here the FSS close quarter stock to help bring that ADS time down again. Just a little bit of a boost for the handling of the gun. Here I've also got an MP5. This is a pretty close to meta build. I've got the 1 milliwatt laser instead of the 5 milliwatt laser, but you could also be going with sleight of hand instead of a laser there. The important thing is that you run the monolithic integral suppressor so that you hide your suppressor, or hide your tracers. The thing about tracers, if you're in a fight with another team and someone else looks across and you're in the open, they're going to see not just that you're fighting, but exactly where you're shooting from. And if you're not fully in cover, they might just light you up. In a darker environment, especially where it's harder to generally see people, especially if you run one of those darker skins like the Rose one, it's going to be important to be hiding your tracers. The gun I have next here is the M13 with the Tempest Cyclone barrel. Compared to the Kilo, it's going to be pretty similar in handling. A little bit less damage in the closer ranges, but a little more damage in longer ranges. And then you're going to get through your ammo quicker. You only have a 60-round mag option as the max instead of the 100. But you do have a skeleton stock, which is going to make for a little bit better ADS movement. And of course, I've got the Merc Thermal and the Commando foregrip. The other way you can build the M13 here is with the 300 Blackout 30-round mags. And this lets you get the full-length barrel and the monolithic suppressor without losing out on the hidden tracers. This does also help your damage range, but you only have the 30 rounds and it has lower bullet velocity, so you're going to have to lead targets more at range. Keep that in mind for sure. But this is another great option here. I ran it, of course, the long barrel and monolithic suppressor, thermal optic, commando foregrip. You may want to forego the commando foregrip, swap it out for sleight of hand just to keep putting rounds down range since you have that smaller magazine. But keep in mind that you're still going to have to hit your targets, so the commando may be necessary. I do here have the Jack 12 shotgun. This gives you an option if you want some better in-building room clearing. You still have a silencer on here. I'm not running Dragon's Breath. And while you are going to have visible tracers, technically, where you're using shotguns isn't really going to come up whether or not you can see tracers. The pellets dissipate after a very short distance anyway, so it's not like you have this big long line across the enemy screen showing exactly where you are that they can trace back. So I think that the tracers matter a good bit less on shotguns, so this is the specific build for a shotgun. I would run stipple grip tape 20 round mag. Oh, and I'm swapping the 5 milliwatt down for a 1 milliwatt laser, and the longest barrel and the Forge Tac Marauder suppressor. And then the last loadout here is an SPR with the Dragoon barrel. So again, integral suppressor is going to hide the tracers. A Merc thermal optic instead of a sniper optic, so that you don't have glint. The Blitz stock for mobility. The Norma mags, which are better range and less bullet drop than the standard mag, but a little quicker and actually better bullet drop or less bullet drop than the Lapua rounds. So I definitely always recommend the Norma. And I'm using the feather bolts so that you can fire quicker. This is a bit of a quick scope, mid-range kind of build where you're going to want to hit them, either down them or at least hit the chest, because you will do, in the best damage ranges, you will do enough damage to break armor fully. That way you can follow up with stuns, a grenade, or rush in with your SMG and finish off the target at a great advantage because you've broken their armor. With that, I've still got an MP5 here, but I've swapped over to the Commando foregrip, the 45 round mag, stipple grip tape, and sleight of hand here. You could also run the ADS stock as well, the FSS close quarters stock. But this is going to give you better control, better recoil properties to use in that mid-range, since you are going to want to be able to extend the MP5's use out to where you're going to be no longer able to reliably hit shots with the SPR. With that, I will always recommend running cold-blooded on these classes, because there will be people running thermals and you will be at a disadvantage if they can see you just by glancing through their thermal optic and you cannot see them. I'm still running Overkill on the first loadout, Ghost on the second, and still running Amped here, though if you do find people running snapshot grenades a lot, you may want to switch over to Battle Hardened. For the equipment here, the lethal, I always still go Simtex. It's a great option here. For your tacticals, you may want to run stun, make sure there's a heartbeat on the team, and it may be valuable to have snapshots here. Snapshots are already fairly good. Keep in mind that even if you're not hitting them directly in the radius of the snapshot, if they are directly above or below that, it'll ping on your UAV. So you can use that to check buildings, make sure someone's not up top on a huge tower, for example. So those can come in handy for sure too. But for the most part, heartbeat, 1 or 2 on the team, and then the rest of the people running stuns is still the way to go. So that basically is it for the loadouts I recommend here. Go ahead and give them a try, see what you like, and maybe play around with whether or not you're running a thermal or which thermal you're going to run. And of course, definitely stay away from lasers. Lasers are going to be very obvious, especially the 5 milliwatt that's just going to be on while you're running. Do not recommend that at all. But go ahead and give it a shot, guys, and it's going to be a great update, I think. Looking forward to playing a lot of these modes. Zombies should be a great time, and enjoy.